Hey man, what's up?
Nice. Or no answer, as usual.
Straight to voicemail.
Hello?
Hey, is this Daniel?
Yes, yes.
Hey, it's Mike.
Mike?
Yeah. How's it going, man? So yeah, like I said in my voicemail, I'm just kind of reaching out to our biggest and bestest supporters, and you're on the list. So that's why I was calling. I just wanted to really honestly just say thanks and that I appreciate your support and ask if you had any questions or any suggestions.
Just because I followed your stuff for so many years, like a couple of years now, and it's just really helped me so much with all my goals and everything. So one question I maybe had was just about the, I've been following the whole protein bar thing that y'all are doing. Any idea on when that's going to be out soon?
Yeah, so the samples, I'm sure then you're kind of up to speed on, like, the first samples we got were super good, and then found out that they just didn't follow anything in the recipe that I sent them and just did their own thing, which was a complete waste.
Oh, no.
Yeah, a complete waste of time. And they did like what they're used to doing, which is making a kind of piece of shit cheap bar that tastes good. And that's not what we want to do. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so when I found that out, I was like, okay, what a fucking stupid waste of time. But all right, here's the recipe. Here's the recipe again. Like, if there are any problems with this recipe, then let me know and we can change it. Like, if for example, if they were to say, oh yeah, well that protein blend is not going to make for a good bar, which actually did happen. So I want to do a whey and casein blend, and they said, like, trust me, this bar is going to be rock hard. You don't want to do a whey casein blend, so let's just do a whey blend. And so we're going to do some whey isolate with whey concentrate, and I'm fine with concentrate as long as it's a high quality concentrate, and it'll make for a better mouthfeel, like better kind of chewiness and better texture and whatever. So then they send us new samples, and we're like, okay, those are really good too. And then we find out they left out a couple ingredients because, like, the reason. So when I found out, I was like, dude, I already fucking told you, why don't leave out ingredients? What are you doing? Like, why are you wasting our time? And he was like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, we just don't usually use those ingredients, so we just left them out. I was like, wow, you people are really stupid. So then I had to say again, like, no, fucking I don't care if you don't normally use them. I showed them another bar as well. I was like, look, here's a bar that has them. Trust me, this can be done. So anyways, now finally they're doing it right. So they had to source the ingredients that they left out. And I think probably next week we're going to have a new round of samples.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely appreciate that. That's another just big selling point for me for a lot of y'all's products. Is just, I know what I'm getting, and I know it's going to be just high quality, healthy, and just very straightforward. So, yeah, that's something that I'm looking forward to then. Yeah, that was my only real big question right now at the time. But yeah, just thanks again for reaching out and everything, because it's been great to be able to support you guys so much, because like I said, you've been just instrumental in being able to help me reach my goals and everything like that. It really just helps me stay on track and everything, too, knowing that I'm making kind of like this investment in the supplements, that it kind of works backwards to making more of an investment in myself. So,
obviously, I appreciate it, and everyone here appreciates it, and we have a lot more stuff coming. We're just going to keep kind of, doing our thing, and we have some very cool things on the marketing side of things that are going to be rolling out in the next few months.
just like it was almost like you guys kickstarted that trend. Like, as soon as you started doing that, started picking up some big now, I see like almost everywhere, everyone's trying to justify something with like a study or something backed up, and so I didn't see that before.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to kind of do a couple things. One, just further differentiate us from everybody else that claims that shit. And then also, I want to raise the bar in terms of, okay, so as a consumer, help educate consumers. So like, when you see a company saying that their products are science-based, let's get specific on what that actually means. And here are some, criteria. Here's your checklist as a consumer that you should kind of have at hand when you are evaluating supplement companies. Because at this point, with so many people saying it at first glance, it's hard to know like who to trust. I mean, you have some brands that are pretty slick in terms of their marketing and pretty slick in terms of their branding, and even some of their figureheads and stuff. So I can see it can be. There are a number of companies that do a good job deceiving people. Basically, is what it comes down to. So I have some ideas that we're going to be rolling out that are going to kind of raise that bar and go, okay, well, here's the what as a consumer what you should expect. Why don't you post your COAs up on your website? Like, I want to see, why don't you get third-party testing done? Who formulates your products? Do you even have like a single actual scientist that works on these products?
Like a new formulation for some of your stuff, like I saw one for Phoenix or something like that. Are you just keeping up with like the latest research or something, or is there a new idea behind it or something?
Yeah, no, in that case, we're actually just changing where the synephrine is coming from. We're changing from synephrine hydrochloride to just a standardized bitter orange extract. It's not hard to, like, as a supplement company, if you want to get fake research, that's very easy to do. And even if you don't want to get fake research, it's actually in the interests of the lab to produce fake research, because then it's going to get you excited and they want the rest of your business. Like when it comes to supplement research, I should see a lot of null results basically. So if I were to see like some team, they're just like pumping out these larger than life kind of studies on various supplements, then I know that like even if I were to go to them and say, okay, I actually don't want fake research, I want real research, and even if that means it's null, I want to know that. It's still in their interest. Like I still wouldn't trust them, because they know that like if this first study goes well, they have to figure that they're more likely to get more business, even if I make it clear that the results of that study will have no effect, no bearing on what else we do together. I still would think that if they're willing to do fake research, then they're willing to kind of bullshit me as well. So.
You go, but yeah, thanks again. And look forward to talking to you again sometime soon. So,
okay. All right. Thank you. Bye. We're going to be up on Amazon UK in the next 3 to 6 months. We're slowly getting up. Pulse is already there. It's just we're working with the government and they're super fucking slow. But by the end of the year, it should be fully sorted completely for all of Europe and UK, basically. Coming over here. So Legion, should you cycle calories? This is from J. D. Wheeler. Should you cycle calories when you're trying to recomp? You don't have to. I mean, calorie cycling is actually more something you find with cutting. But you can also, I mean, just so everybody knows where we're at here on calorie cycling is really just change your calories are going to be higher on some days and lower on some days, and how you structure it depends on what you're trying to do, how you like to eat. But I wouldn't say that it's like better suited to recomping necessarily, because recomping is more just a matter of being new to proper weightlifting and just newbie gains. That's really recomping is newbie gains. So Facebook here. Caffeine-free Pulse. I would like to do a caffeine-free pre-workout. Yes, it is on the list of like things to do, but it's not going to be until next year. Coming back to my IG. Okay, so I broke my foot and can't work out during my cut. Should I eat at maintenance or maintain a deficit? So this is good just for any sort of injury. Just eat at maintenance because it's going to speed up your recovery. So I wouldn't be in a deficit. If you're not able to work out, eat at maintenance. It's also just more enjoyable, and if you're injured, you're already going to be kind of annoyed and feeling shitty, so you might as well not exacerbate that with low calories. Preston Pilgrim, hardest part of starting a supplement line. I mean, it's just like people, I get asked sometimes, simple like, hey, how do you go about finding a manufacturer, or what are 3 tips for starting a supplement business? And honestly, I would say if you're asking those questions, don't try to get into the supplement business. It is not an easy business. Yeah, Legion's done very well. It's grown very quickly and it's on a very steep upward trajectory, but we're in a very unique position. We came into it with I had a following and a whole ecosystem. I had a website getting, over 1 million visits a month. That's Muscle for Life. So I would say, do not think that it's an easy industry to just go make money in, because it's not. Coming over here, So Alexis, how long reverse diet before cutting? Well, I'd say that you want to get up to where at least where your TDE should be, per basic formulas. You can even try to push it higher, really, because again, formulas are estimations. They're not like people's bodies are a little bit different. So I would say at least get up to where your TDE should be and have your weight be stable there. But theoretically, the higher you can, bring your intake without getting too fat to the point where you just can't stand yourself anymore, the better for the sake of cutting. My IG. So Kenny, any future flavor additions for Pulse? The blue raspberry is the best, by the way. I agree. I love the blue ras. Yeah, definitely. So Corey, what are we working on for flavors?
Black cherry.
Black cherry.
A pineapple mango. That's going to be similar to tropical punch.
Tropical punch, pineapple mango type deal.
And then some kind of limeade.
Limeade. So that's what we're working on right now. But yeah, I mean, we're just going to keep adding flavors until it starts cannibalizing from existing sales or just until flavors flop. But so far it's been like more flavors equals more sales. So we just keep doing it basically. So Raj, I don't know, thoughts on cable flies. I like cable flies. I like low flies like this as opposed to like this because it's very easy on your shoulders and allows you to really contract your pecs forcefully. I like doing it at the end of my chest workouts though. So I'll do my heavy pressing, I'll do heavy dips and stuff, and then I'll do some cable flies, higher rep, 10 to 12 rep type stuff. So my thoughts on Charlie Coker. I think he's a great guy. That's why we signed him. I love the video. I think he did a really good job. Him and the videographer did a good job. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, my general thoughts. Those are my general thoughts. If you have any specific questions, let me know. So Danny, is it normal to be hungry on a bulk after reaching your caloric targets? Yes, it is actually. Especially when you go from cutting or maintaining to bulking in your body. I don't know. I actually don't even have a great physiological explanation for it, but I've experienced it myself where I'll get inordinately hungry. Where I don't usually get hungry as long as I kind of like at least have eaten something in the last 3-4 hours. And I can go for longer periods of time without food without really getting all that hungry. But when I'm bulking, that's when I experience hunger the most, which is kind of counterintuitive, but is what it is. Okay, over here. So any truth to having carbs between meals to prime the body for muscle protein synthesis? That's no, not really. I mean, trying to time it between meals doesn't really matter. What matters more is protein, obviously the amount of protein, and then there's also a fair amount of evidence that eating 30 to 40 grams of protein, splitting it up to like 5 meals, so it's like where it's 3 to 4 hours in between each dose of protein, is probably optimal for long-term muscle gain if you're trying to maximize muscle and strength gain. And if you want to learn more about that, go to Muscle for Life and search for protein timing. You'll see an article I wrote, and I kind of lay out the research, some of Lane Norton's research, and I mean, again, it's not definitive, it's not conclusive, but based on my understanding of things and also speaking with some other smart people like Eric Helms and so forth, that seems to be probably the best way to go about it. So coming over here, taking away beta-alanine for pre-workout and keeping caffeine in. No, I wouldn't do another pre-workout without, a caffeinated pre-workout with no beta-alanine, and I wouldn't take beta-alanine out of Pulse because a lot of people like beta-alanine for its ergogenic benefits and also just for the tingles. A lot of people legitimately like it, me being one of them. Okay, back over here to Facebook. So Jonathan Bradley, I heard it could be the next big thing. Oh, cheese flavored protein. I'll let someone else try that and we'll see. If it does really well, cheese flavored protein, sure. If you guys really want cheese flavored protein, then you have to email us. Like a lot of people have to tell us you want cheese flavored protein. So, Iron Chain, does your sleeping supplement work well? My wife has trouble sleeping and I love your products, but I'm not very familiar with sleeping products. I would say, again, if you read the sales page, it educates you on the product, what's in there, and what you can expect from it. Because it is a natural supplement, there are people that, most people will respond well to it. Some people don't notice anything. And that's the way it is with any supplement. I mean, take creatine, the most researched supplement, in all of sports nutrition. Some people get no benefits from it whatsoever. So, we with every product, we do our best to create as high quality of a formulation, and as any people that have followed us from the beginning also know that we stick with ingredients that we feel have enough evidence where it's not hypothetical. It's not saying, well, based on this preliminary evidence and based on a general understanding of these mechanics, this probably will work. We try to stay away from that. We try to stick to things that have enough research done, human research, high quality research, where we can say, look, this is why we've included this, and we feel confident that we can say that most people are going to experience these types of benefits, and here's the research why. So, that's obviously how we approach the sleep supplement. And one thing that, just with that supplement in particular, is quite a few people buy those ingredients separately, and those are very commonly, those are standard. If you want to sleep better, each of those ingredients in the product are things that will be recommended, and it's just less expensive to get it all together in one. That's all. So let's see, coming back to mine. Okay, so what books are you currently reading? Any book recommendations? So I'm reading right now a book called E-Myth. E-Myth Revisited or something. It's E-Myth, Michael Gerber. It's kind of a classic business book where so far the message is essentially you want to systematize your business. You want to build a business with the idea that it's a franchise, that, if you had to duplicate it 5,000 times, as opposed to a business that is reliant on a handful of extraordinary individuals that couldn't be duplicated. And what that kind of boils down to is creating extensive training materials, basically, so you could take, someone and within a reasonable period of time bring them up to speed to do any job in your business, which is something I'm very familiar with because of my previous life. I used to build training materials for other companies, so it's nothing particularly new to me, but it is a pretty good book in that regard. Okay, come back here. What's the best alternative exercise for deadlift? So if the conventional deadlift is not working well for you, you can try sumo deadlifting. You might find that more comfortable. Trap bar deadlift is also great. I think it's an underrated exercise and an underperformed exercise that it also can work well if conventional deadlift doesn't work for you. But if Romanian deadlift, even though I know it's not the exact same exercise, but depending on why you're asking this, these are all kind of options. And then if there's no deadlifting whatsoever, you can do hyperextensions, you can do good mornings, and you can do exercises obviously for your hamstrings, and you can do exercises for your back. So there's no one exercise you can say, oh, just do this instead of deadlifting. It's one of those exercises that if you can't do it, unfortunately, you have to kind of break it apart, and you can train it to little individual pieces. So coming over here, Martin, how many hours a week do you read and how many books a year? Hours a week, I would say I probably average about an hour a day. So, I would say if I'm particularly swamped with things or whatever, for whatever reason, maybe 5 hours would be a low week, 7 hours would be right in the middle, and 10 hours would be a bit more than usual. And these days I'm getting through a little bit. I used to get through about a book a week, about 250 pages a week, but right now I would say it's probably a book every 10 days or so. And it really kind of depends on the books though, because when I'm reading, I don't just read in you just try to subconsciously absorb material. I'm more deliberate with my reading. I'd say it's probably more along the lines of studying. So I'm highlighting, I'm making notes, marginalia type things, and I also clarify all words that I don't understand. I clarify them. I look them up in a dictionary, which adds time but greatly improves my understanding of what I'm reading and my retention of the information. So I could get through for that time. I could technically, if I didn't do that shit, I could get through probably twice as much material, honestly. But that's not really the point. The point isn't just to be like, oh, I read fucking a book every 5 days, but I can't remember anything and don't understand 80% of what I read and don't do anything with any of it. That's pretty pointless. So Joe, I suffer from knee pain and recovering from an ACL operation. So there's a question there, I'm not sure, but if you go to Muscle for Life and search for joint, I did put an article together that might help you with joint pain. Coming over here. Okay, so James McFarlane, regarding macros, when bulking, what's the max percentage of fat that you recommend? Well, percentage isn't the best way to look at it because it really depends on your calories, right? So, but I would say, if you're getting over 100 grams of fat a day, that's completely unnecessary, but I'll bet you at some point you're going to run into some indigestion issues and you're not going to feel all that good. I would say definitely probably 150. I've just from experience of working with people, had people upwards of 200 grams of fat a day. Some people, guys that need to eat a lot of food, and they do not feel good. So I personally like my fat, like when I'm maintaining, or I like it to be around 60 to 70 grams a day. And when I'm bulking, I personally don't go above 100 grams because I'd rather just eat more carbs. And my body's very carb sensitive, meaning it deals with carbs very well. So, I like to end my bulks with upward of 500 grams of carbs a day. It's not fun necessarily to eat all that food, but it makes for good workouts. So come over here. Mike Livingston, how can you alleviate lower back pain, especially pain from deadlift and squatting? Go to Muscle for Life and search for lower back. I wrote an article on this. It'll probably help. It really kind of depends on your situation though. Like I don't know if there's injuries involved, or is it just muscle tightness, or is it form? But that the article is a good place to start. Grabbing another one from mine here. DCan87, what is your opinion about building muscle as a vegan? Is it harder? Thanks. Not really harder. Go to Muscle for Life and search for vegan, and you'll find an article I wrote on that. You can definitely do it. It's a little bit. It requires a bit more diligence with your diet and a bit more planning with your diet. But you can do quite well. Okay, coming over here, Facebook. So, Fernando, what's your take on intermittent fasting as a long-term commitment, even when not cutting, as a way to keep calories under control? I think it's fine if you like it, and if it helps you with your dietary compliance, then there's nothing wrong with it. If you're going to do it, I would recommend following Burkhan's lean gains type of, a 16-8 deal, so you're not fasting for very long periods of time. And I will also say, just referring back to the protein timing thing, that it's probably not ideal if you're trying to maximize muscle and strength gain. Again, it's probably more ideal that you would spread your protein intake out, probably about 5 meals. There's 4 or 5 meals, 30 to 40 grams per meal, blah, blah, blah. But again, that's me just being kind of anal. Honestly, it's not that, of course, we know now that people can do great on IF. So if you like it, do it. So Travis, have I ever done intermittent fasting? And if so, would I suggest it? So just saying, yes, I have done it. I think it's okay. It's not really for me. I kind of do it on the weekends. Sometimes I'll just not eat breakfast on the weekends and start eating. Depends on how active I'm going to be that day. If I'm going to be working out, then I don't do it. But if I'm not going to be working out, I just want to keep my calories a little bit lower. It's an easy way for me to just do that. Okay, so we'll come back to mine. So what do I do if I've been hitting a plateau on bench press for 3 months? Go to Muscle for Life and search for bench press. You'll see an article I wrote on this. And I think it will help you. Ultimately, you may need to get, really kind of dial your training in for bench press. Like if you're trying to really build maximum bench press strength, you can't just kind of bench press once, maybe twice a week and, just do a few sets. You have to approach it a bit more systematically, similar like with deadlift, where you have to start looking at where are you getting stuck in the lift, and you have to start really dialing into your form. You have to work on camera so you can see bar path, and you can look at, because a lot of times what you think you're doing, especially, I really learned this when I was learning golf and building a golf swing. What you think you're doing, like kinesthetically, your kinesthetic awareness generally is most of us are it's a little bit off. So what we think we're doing with our body, and then is not. Like you look on camera, and we've probably all experienced this with squat depth. The first time you realize your squat depth is shit. Like you thought you're getting 2 inches below parallel, and you're 2 inches above parallel. So hope that helps. I know you recommend HIIT training for cardio, but what machine is most effective to get this done? I like biking a lot because you can push yourself. It's no impact. It also, there's some evidence that it can help with your lower body recovery as well. So I like biking, but also the elliptical is good for it. I don't know if I've never done the Stairmaster. Can you hit on the Stairmaster?
You can hit on the Stairmaster.
Corey says you can do hit on a
I
Stairmaster.
prefer that, and for women, I think you can burn a fuckload of calories that way.
Okay. So Corey says you can burn a fuckload of calories doing Stairmaster hit. So that's another option. I personally just always did biking because I just kind of like it. So, It also, the movement of biking is similar to the squat movement, so it has a bit of there can be some carryover actually. Coming back here, so do you think rowing indoor machines mimic the deadlift? Not really. I've not seen any research on that or even heard of that even helping at all, honestly. I think rowing is actually another good choice for cardio just in general, whether it be HIIT or just this or whatever you're doing, because again, you are training a motion that you use in your resistance training. Lucas, how many hours per day are you sitting down on average? I sit about half the day, so, well, that's not true. At night I'm sitting. So like when I'm here at the office, I'm sitting, I'm probably here on average maybe 9 hours or so, and I stand for about half of it and sit for about half of it. And then at home, I'm doing usually 1 to 2 hours of additional work, which I'm sitting for, and otherwise I'm kind of up and around and stuff. So, hey, Jeremy, Pulse, caffeine-free. Yeah, I could see us doing a caffeine-free pre-workout, but it wouldn't be until next year. Hey, look over here. will I marry you? I don't know. Is polygamy okay? How much time to go from 16 to 10% body fat? So go to Muscle Life and search for six-pack, or just look in the last, like, in a couple pages back on the articles, and you'll see an article on how long will it take me to get a six-pack, and that will show you exactly, or at least very accurately. So coming over here, Martin, I also have a business. How many hours a week on average do I work? It's hard to say. Let's say like 60 is probably an average, and 50 would be like me being lazy, and more than 60 is me, I don't know, working more. Should I maintain a calorie deficit if you're unable to lift heavy for a week? Yeah, sure. I mean, if it's just a week and you're cutting, there's no reason, unless you just want to take a break, which I understand. So if you're just feeling a bit run down in your cut, then you can, raise your calories a little bit by a couple hundred, just for the sake of getting a little break, and then get back at it when you're lifting. So, Lucas, how to transfer from a bulk to a cut? Just go. Like, you don't just jump into a deficit. And if you're not, I'm assuming that you're not going to be doing some long prep or anything. So in that case, I always just recommend just be aggressive right from the beginning. Get it done like as quickly as possible. Kind of, I would say don't be so aggressive that you're going to suffer. But you'll find that, like, if you're in a moderate deficit, for the difference between, after the first week, experientially, between a moderate deficit and an aggressive deficit, in my experience, isn't like all that different. So in my opinion, you might as well just be aggressive so you can get your cut over with and get back to eating more food and building muscle again and whatever. So Caleb, when are we going to drop more merchandise? This quarter, I think. We already have the plans. It's just a matter of like coordinating everything and prioritizing amongst everything else, but we are going to be doing some more stuff. So I'll grab this one. So when you're coming out of a bulk from 4,500 calories into a cut, how much should you initially reduce calories by? I mean, I would say just jump into like a 25% deficit and just stay there and ride that until it doesn't work anymore, and maximize your, like, get your activity as high as you can get it within reason, and then from there start reducing your calories, and that's just the game. So, thoughts on the 6 to 8 rep range on a calorie deficit for a male? Yeah, sure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with working in different rep ranges, especially I think it's more suited to, like, periodization is more suited to intermediate and advanced weightlifters, probably mainly because you can actually lift some fucking weight. When you first get into weightlifting, you're so weak that if you were to try to train in higher rep ranges, you're not going to achieve much in the way of muscle damage, which is not ideal. So when you train heavier, you get more muscle damage, and I find also progressing is a bit easier with heavy weights because there's not much in the way of like lactic acid buildup. So it's not when you're getting to that point like where you're gonna fail, it's not because mentally you're just like, fuck, this is so annoying, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm on rep 10 and I'm fucking burning, and maybe I could have gotten a few more, and then also because of that, I think that heavier training workouts that focus more on heavier training are just more enjoyable, which counts for something too. So Caleb, are the protein bars launching soon? I got excited when I saw that a couple months ago. Launching soon? No. Well, it depends how you define soon. I would say the next 3 to 5 months, because they're doing a new round of samples, which I'm assuming we're not just going to approve because we're fucking picky. And then, so let's say we have another like month of samples to go back and forth just to approve something, and then probably 2 months of production time plus, random fuckery time. Let's just say 5 months. And if we beat that, then good on us. Okay, so Decan, what's the best row program to burn fat? I don't know what you mean by that. Over here, thoughts on Grego Gallagher's 3-day routine. I'm actually not familiar with his routine, but if it's just like a push-pull legs, then sure, if you want to just train 3 days a week, that's not optimal in terms of like gaining muscle and strength as quickly as possible though. I'd say a 3-day a week, you can make gains for sure, but it's for more intermediate and advanced weightlifters, that's just maintenance really. It's going to be very hard to make noticeable progress on just 3 days a week, because the amount of intensity and volume that your body needs to continue progressing, you're just not going to be able to jam that into 3 workouts. The workouts are going to be long and fucking grueling, and it's just not very workable. So, Braden, any training advice for ectomorphs? Yeah, go to Muscle for Life and search for body type, and you'll see an article I wrote on this. I think it'll help you. Any good exercise for lagging traps? Deadlift and shrug. I mean, I don't know. That's all I've ever done.
I feel like your traps just develop from doing like laterals and then deadlifts, and then if you have enough volume, they will grow.
Yeah. I mean, that's just heavy pulling and heavy shrugs if you need them. And again, if you look at my Instagram, and I posted recently, like a couple posts ago, was a video where I was just kind of giving a simple back template. If you kind of follow that template, you really shouldn't have trouble with your traps. And if they are particularly stubborn, then you could add in some shrugs either on that workout, or you could just give your back a few days of rest and just kind of throw them in something else, and that should be enough. Okay, so coming over here, so how do I feel about stacking forage with green tea on an IF routine? Yeah, I mean, that's what I do when I'm cutting forage, and then also I take Phoenix, which has green tea extract, so no reason not to.
What we want to do is the next time you go through, we're going to pick one person, and we're going to do that special thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So just one person from each one.
Okay, all right, so we're going to give away one product per person.
Per person of your choice.
Per device. Okay, good. So what we're gonna do, just as we're making this a standard thing on these Q&As, we're gonna give away, which next time maybe we'll do a bit
Instead
more.
we'll spread it out, but it's just...
Here's just the random start of it. We're just gonna give away stuff to people that are here and, posting and participating. So we're gonna give away one product of your choice, and I'm just gonna like pick people one per, again, we're on like Facebook here, and then we're on Legion IG and my IG. So it is Caleb. Caleb's winner, Caleb Hogg, and you can just contact Corey.
Corey at Legion Supplements.
Yeah, just email Corey at legionsupplements.com and she'll take care of you. And to answer your question, if I can do more podcasts with people like Jeff Nippert, Eric Helms, Lane Norton, etc., yes, Lane is going to be coming on in a few weeks. I'm going to be having Eric back on to do part 2 of what we started, which is going to be off-season natural bodybuilding, and yeah, there's a lot more coming. Okay, so the next one here is ABB Melch, Ab Melch. You're the winner of something cool that you want. So you can just, contact Corey and she'll take care of you. And I'll just take here. So Clueless Name, you are the winner of the random product. So again, email Corey at Legion Supplements and she will take care of you. All right, how are we doing on time?
Let's do 3 more questions, so one from each platform,
okay.
And then we'll call it, because we're about 30-35 minutes.
Okay, so 3 more questions. So we'll just do one per platform, and then we are going to call it a day and do some other work. All right, so 1 gram, so this is from Jack. So is 1 gram per pound of protein enough to maintain muscle while in a 20-25% calorie deficit? Yes, it is. Over here. So, waiting, come over here. Okay, so, one more question over here? On either of you? So how much of the strength decrease do you experience during a cut? Personally, I don't really see much of a decrease in the first 4 weeks or so, but I would say I start to lose, the first thing I notice is I'll lose a rep or 2, particularly on my pressing, which is just my body, I don't know, where my deadlift and squat will generally kind of stay the same. And then I would say by the 8th week, I've lost generally a few reps on my big lifts. And sometimes that means I have to drop the weight by maybe just like 5 pounds, but nothing dramatic. And that really, I mean, my body, again, is not particularly even built for weightlifting. It's not like I'm a tremendously big or strong person. I had to like grind out everything that I've got so far. So I think that that's like realistic expectations actually for most people. So next question, how are the writers' meetings going? Fantastic, Emily, you know that. So best dip alternative, it kind of depends what you're trying to achieve, if it's chest or if it's more triceps, so I'm gonna grab one other one. So why not drop MFL and keep Legion? They seem like they shadow each other. Well, it's going to be quite different when we're going to be relaunching our MFL, which is going to be really a source. It's going to be an education. Like, it's going to be all about education. So we're going to have digital courses. We are going to have a store. We're going to be adding that. But well, I'd say it's all going to be about education and services. So we're going to have more content. We're going to have digital courses. We're going to have more stuff in the way of like meal planning, coaching, and just like all-in-one coaching and training coaching and stuff. So Legion, from a branding perspective, I want to be associated with just supplements. That's why also we're not going to be doing a bunch of apparel under the Legion name. We are going to be adding a few things, but you know, if we want to really get into apparel, it has to be another business, which is there's a whole marketing explanation behind that, but we don't have time for that. So anyways, that's why, because Legion's blog does very well and people really like it. And yeah, theoretically, like I see where you're coming from, you'd think maybe just put all the educational content on MFL, and I would do that, but Legion's blog actually gets a lot of traffic and makes us a lot of money, so that's why. Okay. Thanks again for everybody. MFL or BLS certification, last one, yeah, that's going to be something that also we're going to be doing. That won't be until next year, but yeah, that's a whole thing, because I get a lot of people asking, like, if I could recommend them to trainers in New York and LA and this and London and blah, 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 and I don't have a network of trainers that I honestly trust enough. Like, I have trainers that work with me in our online service, and they're good, but anyways, so that's a yes, but not until next year. Okay, thank you, everybody. Hope to see you next week again.
We're gonna aim for Friday.
All right, she says Friday. Friday, probably around this time. I like this time personally, just because then I can get through a bunch of stuff in the morning. And all right, thank you. See you next time.